Goody goody everyone, this is Dayhawk bringing to you episode 35 of Shaman King 2001. This episode begins with three people running away from something. You get to see this little boy and his parents, and the next thing you know, they reach a dead end and they're being chased by these people who claims to be vampire hunters, and they declare them to be vampires. Of course, the dad responds with, "We're not vampires, we're human beings, this is a mistake." But the head of the vampire hunters doesn't believe them, and right before the child's eyes he gets a slice, and then the mom pushes him off the cliff, and you get to see the mom also getting killed. And it's a really sad flashback because you get to see Boris as a little kid, remembering everything that's happened, and the episode officially starts. So Yo and the gang spend the whole day inside the church, and this time no deserts and no woods. They just made it into town, and they ask, where is Ryu? Where is he? And one of the boys mentioned that Ryu decided to go watch a movie in the nearest movie theater. And next thing you know, this movie is a vampire movie. It's a vampire movie, and apparently Tokugaru wanted to see it, so they watched it together. And poor Tokugaru is scared to the point where there's a scene where this vampire is giving chase and decides to run away. Tokugaru did. And Ryu's like, "Dude, you're the one who picked this movie. Why did you want to watch it in the first place?" And as Tokugaru leaves to the lobby, he senses something like maybe blood or something about those lines, and it cuts back into the theater, and then Boris appears out of nowhere. And Ryu tried to defend himself. He hits him with the wooden katana. It didn't work, to the point where he disappears, and then he sneaks up from behind and he gets attacked. And it leads to the next scene with the X-Laws in the Lily 5. And the Lily 5 asked, why are you sealing off the whole city? And Marco said that it's the only way to keep out and to protect people from Howl's followers. And I just personally find it to be BS considering what happened in the past. And they briefly introduce each other, and Marco mentioned that Lyserg and his friends were in the town, and when Millie hears this, she just runs off into town, and then Ellie runs after her. But when the others try to follow those two, Marco blocks them and just holds a gun at them and just telling them you can't go in. And in the next scene, Ryu's body appears in the laying in the bench, wondering what happened, and the boys discovers there were bite marks on the neck, and they were wondering if this is the work of a vampire. And of course, the boys have doubts, especially Ren. And then Millie and Ellie go and made it to the church, tells everybody that the X-Laws are here, and they sealed off the city. And Lyserg, of course, was like, oh, the X-Laws? Really? They're here? And next thing you know, Ryu gets up mysteriously, and you see him all pale, and his eyes are all red, and decides to attack the two girls. And as he was about to get his hands on them, Horo in the nick of time freezes Ryu, and the girls were saved. And then it cuts into this scene where all the people were in a room talking about Dracula and the origin story, which leads to the priest telling the story of Vlad the Impaler and how he did things in order to protect his homeland and became a hero, but next thing you know, his own people turn against him, and that's when the impaling and the origin story of Dracula came to be. Excuse me. So Horo and Lyserg decides to keep watch of the body, and Lyserg decides to go outside, not before telling Horo that I'll be back, don't worry. So Lyserg meets with the X-Laws, and they had an interesting talk, and it led to Marco telling Lyserg about you need to do you need to do things that you probably have to cross the line in order for the greater good to prevail. And he mentioned something that gave like a scary unfeeling thing, which it says what Marco said: in order to defeat Hao, you cannot take pity in the life of your friends or even yourself. So to sum it all up, in order to defeat Hao, you have to do things that you don't like, especially if it involves killing a friend. And that's like an ominous feeling I got there. And back at the church, something mysteriously breaks the ice, and Horo gets attacked by Vampire Ryu, and then bites him, and then he becomes a vampire. Now, mind you, Ryu falls unconscious, and then Horo gets possessed. And as he was about to attack the girls, in the nick of time, Lyserg captures him. But here is the part that really took an effect, because he really took Marco's words to heart, apparently, because as he was holding Horo, he was pulling the rope, and you could see him yelling and screaming to the point where he unleashes his Big Ben attack and to pretty much kill him. luckily Ren and Yo pushes him down, and Ryu came to, saves Horo Horo. And of course, Yo was very angry as to why, and Lyserg gave an excuse, like, if we keep him alive we all become vampires, we have to kill him. And then he murmurs about how and when we can't be doing this, and that's when Yo just punches the wall and tells Lyserg, we're gonna save Horo Horo and nothing else right now. And at this point, including me, I'm just so frustrated with Lyserg. He's just a party pooper. He only cares about defeating Hal, and I wouldn't have a problem if any of the other boys would have just punching him in the face and just knocked some sense into him, because he's such a party pooper. And Jesus, God, he's more annoying than his 2021 counterpart. Yeah, it's that bad. While everything that's happened between them is going down, the priest takes the two girls down into the dungeons and gets captured. Apparently the priest is also a shaman, and he uses his guardian ghost to trap the girls. And it's later discovered that him and Boris were working together, and they're all part of Hal's group. And so as he was about to kill them, Boris stabs him in the back, literally. And mind you, the girls and also the boys saw this from happening, and they were shocked, because you see a follower of Hal killing a fellow comrade, and just to see it before their eyes, it's like, whoa, seriously? And Boris introduces himself and has this mini battle between the boys, until the point where Lyserg appears, uses his crystal to go through Boris, but he disappears. And then you see these bats appearing, and Boris appears from behind and bites him. And that's where Yo runs and just screams, and that's the end of it. And here's the thing too that I forgot to mention, that Lyserg told Yo, in case I get turned into a vampire, you must kill me. You must kill me, because it's for the greater good and defeat Hal and all that stuff. But Yo had pretty much, screw you, I'm gonna save everybody. Which leads to the end of the scene where the ex-Lost decides to make their move, and they go inside. They go in and go to town. And that's the end. That's the end. Oh, and Anna uses her 180 beads and drag Manta, because they're going to America, and give the book to Yo for him to study. And that's the end. That's the end of the episode. It's a very good episode. I find it to be better than the 2021, in my opinion. It gives a lot of character development, and especially to Lyserg, because Lyserg at this point, it's just, he's annoying as hell, and you get to see this as a turning point for him to decide to leave Yo's company and go to the X-Laws. Yeah, I think that's it. In case I miss anything, please do comment and give a like and share. And I'll see you on the other side. Johnny!